up, everybody? It's your boy the Kryptonian Satan here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 586. Okay, 586. Now, this was a good chapter, and in particular, the ending. I see what you're doing, Oda. You setting Dragon up, and I love it. Okay, I love it. Like when Dragon first got introduced, like what chapter 100 at the end, where he helps Luffy escape because he stopped Smoker from capturing him. Didn't expect anything like this. Didn't expect it. Didn't expect hundreds of chapters later, this guy is relevant. And he uses Oda. He uses Sabo and his aristocratic background as a way, I guess, to inspire Dragon to go through with this whole thing about rebellion. Because Dragon's looking, he's hearing Sabo crying and talking about how he hates that he was born an aristocrat. He has no power to stop the burning at Trash Mountain from going on. And Dragon says, you've caused this boy to hate himself, to hate what he was born as. And he says, well, or born as. And he says, hey, I'll never forget this. Of course it means something to me. I was born in this country too. And when I saw the little tattoo right there, I was like, is that Luffy's dad? And sure enough, you know, somebody at the end of the chapter says, like, hey, Dragon, the preparations are complete. So I'm guessing Dragon was already on the path towards being a revolutionary, but this probably cemented for him exactly what it is. And it's so crazy that Luffy was that close to his father. It makes you wonder, did Dragon know Luffy was out there and was he keeping an eye on him? It makes me wonder that. And because part of the reason is Ivankov, you know, in Ivankov's flashback says, you always look towards the East Blue, what's going on? And, you know, Dragon's like, I have a son out there. And so it makes me wonder, was he secretly watching Luffy all this time? And if he was, you know, I can kind of understand why he stayed away, because in Sabo's part of the flashback, you know, his father is basically saying, like, you got to rat out your friends, you know, or else something bad's going to happen to him. And Sabo won't do it. And it just shows that corruption is always there. And by staying away, he's protecting Luffy in the same way that Roger wanted Garp to protect Ace, you know, because the sins of the father carry on to the son. So I like what you're seeing there. And if that is true, I've got new appreciation for Oda. I say it a lot, but I totally love that. And the other thing that I really liked is how Sabo, just like Luffy, didn't sell it his friends. But the difference is Sabo's father slaps down the money and says, like, my son, he's so stupid. Just make this go away. You understand, don't you? And Luffy and Ace, you know, they're basically going to be labeled as, you know, thieves or whatnot. So, I mean, it's starting them down their path. And what I find really interesting is the fact that, you know, Ace is telling Luffy is they're unknowingly going around carrying all these oil drums and everything and setting them around the different parts of the island, Trash Mountain, because the world government's going to burn everything up. As that's going on, you know, Ace is being the big brother, and he's saying, like, hey, man, I don't understand much of what's going on here either, but, you know, Sabo's strong. If he doesn't like it, he'll find his way back to us. We just got to live our lives. And he's taking the mature response, and it just shows you Ace has always been looking out for Luffy from the very beginning. I just love seeing that. And as the fires are raging all around them, you know, Luffy's like, I can't breathe, it's hot. And he's freaking out in the way that a child should. But Ace keeps his head about him. And he says, like, look, just pipe down, keep quiet. If it's hot, you can get left. You don't want to get left, right? Follow me. Look, I'll take care of you. And it's just so fitting that as the fires are raging, chaos is ensuing, Ace keeps a level head, and the symbolism is the fact that Ace was going to get a Logia fruit that was going to be fire, and he was going to be able to, you know, become intangible. Fire is uncontrollable. Ace has that flashback with Garp where he's talking about wishing he'd never been born, and that anger that's in him where he's beating up all of these people because he's the son of Roger is so symbolic to see those flames just raging all around. So I really enjoyed that part of it, and I really enjoyed the fact that, you know, as Sabo is going through his day-to-day activities, you know, we see him come to the realization that it wasn't just his new stepbrother, but it was also all the people. They're going about their everyday lives because they understand, like, hey, they're all going to get burned. They're going to lose everything, but it's okay. We get to prosper. That's all that matters. Our lives are not affected. And that pissed me off for reasons I should have touched on. I know I touched on in the last chapter review, but that's just reality. That's just reality. You know, not everyone can be wealthy, but it's something you aspire towards. You know, in America, you know, we have the whole thing with the American dream, where if you work hard enough and you put in enough time and effort, you know, you can carve out your slice of the American pie, the American dream. No matter how small it is, you can carve it out. And what's essentially being told in this is like, no, like, you're a stain, you're a blemish on us. We're getting rid of this. And part of it comes down to greed. And it just shows how it's easier to divide people who are from a lower class background. I feel like that's what Oda's really touching on here. Because it's something that is very easy to do. You know, like 48 Laws of Power, where it says become a master of chaos. Because the whole purpose of it is when people are going with their heads cut off, it's easier to move them around. Whereas if they're united, it's harder to manipulate them. And Bluejam's thinking, I'm going to become an aristocrat. And yet the thought never crosses his mind, why would an aristocrat take interest in me? Why would he bring me up? That never crossed his mind. He was too busy thinking about his personal gain, what he had to get out of it. And that's a very dangerous line of thinking. And it ends up biting him in his ass, because the gates he's supposed to evacuate from end up closing, and he's going to burn to death with everyone else. And so I really like how Oda had those different narratives in there. I thought that that was very intelligent writing. I like how Sabo, as the chapter progresses, gets more and more upset, and he's experiencing all over again the helplessness. But at the same time, I'm wondering, did Dragon take Sabo with him? Because he said, I don't have the power to change this country. And Dragon says, well, I'm from here as well. This is my home too. And the fact that the Celestials are there and overseeing all this, the aristocrats, I'm wondering if maybe Dragon took Sabo with them. That will make sense, because we don't see Sabo when Ace leaves the island. We don't see Sabo when Luffy leaves. So that means Sabo had to leave at first. So I'm really interested, and if that is the case, it sets up a great opportunity for Luffy to meet back up with them, and maybe use that as a segue to meet Dragon. You know, my money's more on that Vivre paper, that life paper that Lola gave to Nami, because, I mean, that just seems like an obvious thing, because it's pointing in the direction. And shortly after that, Luffy meets Ivankov. I mean, not shortly after, you know, it's probably 100 so chapters later, but still, like in Oda's pacing, that's shortly after. So I'm really interested to see where that's going, and it isn't that crazy to think about when you think about it, because Ace wanted to be a captain, served Whitebeard. Sabo wanted to be a captain, wanted to be a navigator and chart the world. Let's say he serves Dragon in the Revolutionary, and his background makes sense for him to want to overthrow the status quo. That means out of all three of them, Luffy was the only one who became his own captain of his own crew. And that's very beautiful, and that just shows that Luffy, even amongst these other two who are more talented than him, older, wiser, Luffy has those intangibles to where he sticks to it, and he's actually realizing his dreams. So my chapter question to you guys is, what were your thoughts on the plan to burn Trash Mountain, and what do you think Oda is trying to say about the bigger thing about class? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day.